today's deep dive, we are going to be focusing on the Queen Charge Super Bowlers. This army right here in particular is Gaku's. I'm going to explain the whole army, and then I'm actually going to go into depth of what's the better charge. The Queen Charge, Duke Charge, or the Royal Champion Charge, all combined into, be it Super Bowlers, whatever army you want to add into it. But now let's kind of explain the whole aspects of the army itself. King, Spiky Ball, and the Snake Bracelet. You can switch over to the Giant Gauntlet and Stick Cores if you'd like to. I really do prefer the Snake Bracelet and Spiky Ball because the King is usually dedicated towards the outside of the base. The Queen, the Monolith Arrow, is very, very important. Obviously, to make the Queen Charge viable, you need it. If you don't have the action figure, you can go for the Frozen Arrow if you want to. I do like having the action figure once you use it in kind of pair with the Super Bowlers. Warden, again, a lot of people ask me all the time, Aki, is the torch 100% required? I would say so. It just gives the Super Bowlers so much more value. Like, you can do your best and try like incorporating some jump spells, but I just won't guarantee you as much success as you're going to see here. The Duke, Fireheart, Stun Blaster. If you want, you can use the Electro Fangs and Stun Blaster as well. Totally okay. Either kind of pair works very nicely. You have 3 rage spells. You want to use 1 for your Queen Charge if you can. And if you're going further, 2 is fine, but you definitely want to save at least 1 for your Super Bowlers. 2 free spells, 1 you can use if you really, really need it on your charge, or usually you use it on like the Logger or some very high splash damage area. The invisibility spells helps your Queen Charge out. You have 2 totems in the army. You can drop 1 totem to increase the invis amount. I feel like to have the 2 totems, it's always nice to have in your back pocket. Poison, obviously self-explanatory. And then you have the recall spell where you're going to recall your queen and healers. The army itself, not hard. The ice golems, 1 can pair with the Dragon Duke and the King on the outside of the base. 1 for the Super Bowlers. Or you can have both for the Super Bowlers depending on how you like your entry. Apprentice Warden tags along. You have the Baby Dragon to set a funnel if you need it for your Queen Charge after the Angry Jelly wears off. Same thing with the Valks. If the CC lures and you want it to be destroyed, just use those 2 Valkyries. The Wizards, some cleanup troops. And the Loons, just for test traps. So nothing too crazy. And 99.9% of the time, you are using the Sky Wagon, but you might also switch to the Troop Launcher if you'd like. Those are the 2 most common ones. Okay, now let's go discuss the different type of charges. Okay, which one is the strongest? I've got that question asked a lot, honestly, and I'll answer this not blandly, but it's really what you prefer. The one that can get baited the most, in my opinion, is the Dragon Duke charge. Because it targets defenses, or any building for that matter, it can be easier to kind of go left, go right, get lured by skeleton traps, little troops, heroes. That sucks. The Royal Champion goes directly for defenses, much easier to path. If she locks on a hero, just make it invis. It's better, and then no silly traps kind of mess her up, other than obviously spink traps, but skeleton traps, things like that, do not at all, because the Electro boot damage. Queen. The Angry Jelly charge is awesome, but if you're going into a high damage area, for some people, they might not be fast enough to get a rage down or an invisibility down, that you can get caught lacking and have your Queen drop down. So for me personally, the Royal Champion charge has been very, very safe because people have been trying to protect against the Queen and Duke, that they're kind of vulnerable to the Royal Champion charge. So out of the 3, it is actually pretty equal because all you're really trying to do is set a funnel for your Super Bowlers. So be that the Duke, be that the Royal Champion, it doesn't really matter, okay? That's just my thoughts on it. Higher up in Legends and Esports, I've seen a lot of the Queen charge and a lot of the Duke charge. But I'll tell you this, the Duke charge has been getting baited. Even in one of the attacks I did today in the Esports mode, I got baited very, very hard. I still secured the 2-star, but my Duke was running all over the place and I was crying. No, jokes aside, I was not crying, but you know what I mean. So what I would recommend you do is do friendly challenges, see what opener you like most. But if you really, really want to play it safe, try the Royal Champion and then move on. The Queen takes a lot of skill, but you can get a ton of value very, very quickly. I hope that kind of answers all your questions. If you have any, just drop them below. But now let's get into the first replay. Okay, the first attack was actually against my base in a esports war for the World Championships Open qualifiers. And this attack was absolutely spectacular, so I definitely did want to show it off. The army, not 100% the same, but for the most part it is. They just got some rocket loons added on, no super wall breakers. So again, what do you want to do? Well, you're trying to set up the path for your Super Bowlers. Ideally, you want your Super Bowlers to get in towards the core of the base. If you can get the CC out early, that is always a positive thing with your queen, and you want to limit your charges mostly max a minute 15 seconds. At that point, you're starting to push it unless you're very confident with your charges and you feel good about your queen and you're like, I know to excellently path. Yeah, then you can spend a little bit more time to that like 75-second mark. But honestly, I would limit it to just a minute. So they saw this base, and in my opinion, they saw the CC, they saw the Revenge Tower. Revenge Tower obviously is a lot weaker at the start of the attack, and with the Angry Jelly, if you path your queen right here at this Wizard Tower, you're going to go right towards the Multi-Archer Tower, air defense, you get the Revenge Tower, and you get the CC lured, and hopefully you set off that poison spell. Once you take care of all of this, you can add in a little bit of like a wizard or something like that, some archers to set even more of a funnel, but you have pretty much cleared out this whole entire compartment. Like I said, you want to go through the core. So you want to rip through this town hall area in towards the fire spitter, go towards the cake at the end. Well, how do you counter funnel? Your queen funneled this side. How do you funnel the opposite side? Well, that's where your king and dragon duke come in. In this attack in particular, he uses the rocket lens to snipe out these two buildings. King and duke over here to funnel this compartment. And then the super bowlers have no option but to go straight in towards the core of the base. But now let's watch as this happens, because it is a very good attack. And again, just goes to show you that this army is definitely going to work in Legends 1, 2, or 3 if it's dominating in esports. So if you can just execute properly, you will be good to go. Remember those loons, just to test out some traps, gets a little archer down, another archer down. This is like key little minor details that some attackers don't pick up on. That's just start cleaning up right away. Yes, the Angry Jelly has 25 seconds to get active, but it's always nice to start this cleanup so your queen doesn't get lost and distracted once that Angry Jelly does wear off, especially when you're dealing with ice golems. Key thing in 1 pro for the Archer Queen charge is if you can get that CC out early, those ice golems can't slow you down later on into the attack. But he got exactly what he wanted, and look at this. The poison spell is going to drop. He recalls. That's perfect value. Drops the queen right away. Does not waste any time. Warden, now the super bowlers are also going to join in, but look at the opposite side, or sorry, at this top side here by the town hall. He tests for a little bit of a trap, and then he's going to get his rocket loons in. The poison lizard is an awesome addition to the warden, by the way. I need to let you guys know that. Some people, you always hear about the poison lizard hate. Yeah, don't buy it. It is very, very good to help you out. Rocket loons in, they snipe that out, and look at this. These super bowlers have a direct path in towards the logger. It's going to draw them in. So now, pop that warden ability, and this is where the torch becomes so dang important. It just shreds through this. And look at the duke. He cleared his side. The king's doing his thing. Queen set the automatic funnel. And now your troops are forced in towards the core of the base. There's one lesson you can take from this, is you want to force your troops somewhere. You don't want to just guess and hope they go there. You should know where they're going to end up. That's when your attacks will truly level up. It doesn't matter if it's in Esports, Legends 1, Legends 2, Legends 3. I don't care if you're in Electro 33. These little principles, they add up over time. So as you move up the leagues, you just got to make less and less mistakes. Okay, that's the key thing. There goes the queen ability to get the action figure out. But man, the queen is so strong. She snipes down that minion prince. We'll go 4 times speed through this because my base, sadly, did get cooked. But now, let's go into some of my own little friendly challenges because I am sadly out of Legends 2 hits. We can do a deeper video on this if you just want to see the attacks. But this one is more so about learning. So let's go into another one. Okay, I wanted to try a different base, but then also a different crafted defense. Some of you wanted to test out different ones, so here's the hot candle. Once you get a little bit more comfortable with queen charges, there's things you can take advantage of bases, and that is very deep charges. This is I'd only recommend if you're really, really confident in your skills. For me, I saw weakness in this base right off the bat. I'm like, if I wall break into here, queen's obviously going to take these defenses. I can snipe the next wall. I can snipe the next wall. I'm going to go for that town hall area. I want the logger with my queen charge. If I take care of this whole area, right, and the logger, I can start over here with my queen again, get my super bowlers in, king and duke over here to hopefully funnel this left-hand side, and then my super bowlers straight through the town hall. That's my kind of plan. You're probably wondering, why am I going through this direction? You could have done the same thing over here. It's identical, okay? So it wouldn't have really mattered. I just went for this side because I thought, you know what, why not? Reason I didn't go over here, even though this is a possibility as well, the Revenge Tower 2 heroes, a Raged Up Monolith, and Ricochet Cannon, Archer Tower there, the Infernos. Yeah, that's just too much damage. that's if I really want to fail and I'm like in the mood to. Yeah, that's a good option there. I'm joking, but seriously, it's going to be too much spell. Not spell usage, that's going to be a waste, but yeah, I'd be on the side of like, it's too much. Air defense is in range of my healer, so I want to make sure I have the Tesloons out in front. Get the early rage because I see the minion prints there. I want that super wall breaker to also make it. So that was kind of like a two-handed play there, even though that isn't a really early spell. Look at that super wall breaker, make sure that I'm there. And I only have 3 super wall breakers, so I got to make sure this works. I don't want this logger to lock onto my healers. That would be an absolute travesty, and we can't have that. So my queen's going to take care of this fire spitter. That freeze was supposed to be for both the logger and the hot candle. I just got the candle, not that crazy. Here I was hoping my queen would just target the town hall. I don't quite get that, so I'm like, I'm not going to waste too much damage. I don't want my healers to take more damage. So let's start here with the queen. Some of you might be asking, Aki, could you start it over here as well? You totally could have, and honestly, it would have been even a little cleaner of an entry. And the reason for that is because you've set up all of this. You're going to go through this with the Warden ability. You could have your King and Duke clean over here better, and then you could still get that Town Hall access. Yes, you end off at the CC, but that's not too big of a deal. So there's both points of entries, and I can actually show you the other one as well. If we want to do that one, we can. But I feel like you can learn a lot from it because there's different entries you can do. I send my King and Duke straight in towards this hot candle. A little bit scary. But I'm like, okay, let me get this totem in here, spread out some of that damage, because otherwise I'm going to get wrecked by that hot candle. It is very, very good. But as you can see, I made a little bit of a tiny mistake here. I didn't really funnel that top side, so now my Super Bowlers are kind of walking. The reason I'm not too scared about that is I have the Skywagon, that Super Yeti. They're going to kind of clean up that core. I can pop my Warden ability to get my Super Bowlers access, and that area is going to go down. So it's not that crazy end of the world type stuff. It's going to go down. The only thing I'm worried about is ending up at that Rage Tower. That's why I've actually saved my Dragon Duke ability, because I know if you can get me in near there, that value is going to be so valuable. Because watch right here, he gets closer, gets pulled in. Look at that, I stunned pretty much every single defense. Now the queen with her ability gets the action figure out there. And yeah, the Revenge Tower is not going to cause us that many issues. These Super Bowlers are going to chain down through this wall, and they're going to hit that Revenge Tower, which is just crazy value. So we'll go 4 times speed through this. Got the job done there. But yeah, I think once you get a little bit more well-versed with the queen charges, you can do a lot of fun stuff. This was me obviously trolling around a little bit. I might have not done this exact same thing plan, but because I know it's a friendly challenge, I can kind of up the stakes a little bit because I'm less scared of obviously failing. Okay, because I don't want to overload you with too much information, the last attack we're going to cover is from one of my clanmates. This was also in esports mode, so you can really test that, yeah, this is no joke. But where's your queen going to charge in from? Remember, it's a great thing to take care of a CC, and if you can set off a spell tower, that's absolutely perfect. So if you look at the range of the CC, it's better to start kind of near here. And remember, you have the Angry Jelly on, so if you take care of this bomb tower, super wall break in, you're already access to those key details. The reason you do that, though, is once your queen gets in towards here, she's cleared out all of this chunk of base here, okay? Then you can send your Super Bowlers with your recall of the queen in towards the town hall. As they deal with that, you can get your Dragon Duke here, King over here, because then they can kind of funnel down towards the 3 o'clock side. Well, guess what? The Super Bowlers are then forced in towards the core of the base. 100% of the time, you want your Super Bowlers to always stay in the core. If you can make sure that happens with the Warden ability and combine that with some rage spells, you will always cook. Seriously, if you can just plan their pathing, yeah, obviously there's going to be some tougher bases, but in the most part, that's what you're trying to do. So let's check this out. And again, key thing, just make sure your queen doesn't go down. And even if she does, it's not the end of the world. I've had attacks before where I didn't completely get the value I wanted, and I was just like, okay, I can make do with that. I just got to make sure I can still set up and save the attack and get a 2-star. Don't just throw everything away and just be like, okay, I'm dead in the water. My queen didn't get anything. Now she's down. I'm cooked. No, she will still get some value. Just don't let her go down like right away or something like crazy like that. But again, if it happens, it's all good. Just kind of counter that. But the queen, as you can see, is doing a great job here. The baby dragon's in now because remember, the Angry Jelly only lasts 25 seconds. He is going to provide, I think, another super wall breaker here. I can't remember if he does, but I don't think he might not actually need it because he has access to the Rage Tower, the Inferno if he wants to get it. So again, around that minute mark, The longer is more like how comfortable you feel like in terms of like the value versus the time that you need off the attack. So the queen actually makes it all the way towards the CC, takes that out, going to take care of the multi-archer tower, use the invisibility spell, which is very smart because that cake is going to start launching shots, and it is seriously no joke. But look at this. The whole area is cleared out. Now the queen, with the bowlers here, got the access to the town hall. That's what you want in a perfect world. This is how the attack works each and every single time. At this point, just be careful. The logger can really mess up some of your heroes. He goes with the troop launcher here. A reason for that is you can test for spring traps and little traps like that. So it's always good to have. The Giga Bomb goes off, delays the warden ability a bit, which I thought was excellent. And the king and duke are kind of doing their thing. And look at this. The king walks down towards 3 o'clock. The super bowlers are now in the core of the base, exactly how you want them. Still has a rage spell saved up that he can use on this backside revenge tower, ricochet cannon, wherever he wants to. And the super bowlers kind of just wreak havoc on this base. The duke and king actually end up joining up together in kind of the core. The king pops his ability to force them back in kind of to that area, and the king goes back outside, which was excellent. Now, Revenge Tower goes down, and at this point, everything is kind of money because you still have the freeze spell, queen ability, and the dragon duke ability, and it is going to be a 3-star. Next time I do this, I promise I will do some Legends 2 hits for you guys because I sadly am not going to promote, but I'm all out of hits. I hope this kind of explained it. Remember to take it out in friendly challenges and actually do some practice with it, but I gave pretty much every single detail I could. If you guys want to see another video on it, I will for sure do it for you guys. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I will see you in the next one. Peace out.